All right, here we go. NBA parlay of the day. We open up the week, right? We take Sunday off. That's fine. It's a 6-day-a-week venture here. So let us put together a 3-leg winning parlay, shall we? Right? Last time we spoke was Saturday. That's fine. Now we have some interesting action on this Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So let us look at the wide range of value that I think is there. Before we do that, can I just ask a couple of things, right? You know, you gotta hit the thumbs up button, that you subscribe, that you're part of what we're doing here. 50 plus. I don't mean 50 like 50, I mean 50K plus. So thank you. There's somebody out there is day one. Somebody out there is number one. So we thank you all, no matter what number you are as far as the sub count is. We just appreciate that this thing continues to grow as it does. Let's hit the DraftKings. Look, that $5 into $200 is still available. I know I'm going to put it on. Hey, you missed it. You missed it. That's fine. Don't. No, you didn't miss it. It's still around. We're going to start with the Pacers. And the big thing is the big guy behind me, we have no idea what's going on. We simply have zero idea. If I have to stop and take a swig, that's only because my voice is shot. But look, the Bucks are certainly struggling right now without Giannis out there. And the Pacers are struggling without Tyrese Halliburton, as they would without their leading scorer, without the NBA leader in assists per game. Like, all of that would make sense. But you start to look at, and this is what we're going to focus on as far as a bigger theme. It's going to pop up again with as big of a spread here tonight. But early on, I want to get your action in early here, well, at least one game early. And I think the Pacers, even though it's on the road, the Pacers still can get some points up and they can still score. And I'm not really struggling right now to come with many, what would you say, reasons or end justifications for how the Milwaukee Bucks all of a sudden are going to blow a team out without Giannis. Now, this is built in with the Pacers are suffering much more, are way worse off right now without their guy than the Bucks are without their guy. And I don't necessarily know about that long term. And it's not just the back-to-back losses to the Heat. Don't get me wrong. The Pacers are struggling too. Pacers are having some problems as well here. So I'm looking at this as just a larger spread from 7 to now 10. We're covered in blowout range. And I also don't think that the Milwaukee Bucks have enough to sustain that level of blowout unless they keep it super low scoring. And even without Halliburton, that's going to be a challenge in its own right. So I'm good here. We open up with the Indiana Pacers on the road and a big number. I understand. But we open up with the Pacers plus 10.5. All right, let me turn $5 into $200. You're going to bet on Tom Brady versus Dak Prescott, but you don't even need to win. None of that even needs to happen. All you need to do is just take 90 seconds out of your life and sign up. That's all. Sign up on DraftKings below. Once you're signed up, you link an account, you deposit $5. Yes, this is all part of that 90-second process. From there, what are you going to do? Put that $5 immediately. That's all, just $5 immediately on the
$3 yesterday, Terry. That was all.
That is significantly more than I made it.
I crushed it on the showdown slate, but I was up big on basketball, and I don't know what happened. Not enough players in that last game. You know how that goes.
You know what? I was loaded up with players from that last game, and I didn't quite get there. I was like, the whole time I was checking it, I was like, we're fine. We got tons of players in that last game. We're fine. And just didn't get there. I don't know what it was. I had been up for like a half hour. I haven't had a chance to go back and look at it yet. But yeah, that was a wacky one. I'm just dropping in my place.
All right, Stokastic, here we go. It's your old pal EMac coming to you on a holiday, Monday afternoon here for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, joined by Terry McBride, Mr. T. McBee himself, as we're going to talk a little No House Advantage. No House Advantage, as you covered, for like the next 4 hours, because we've got the 1 o'clock, we've got the deeper dive at 2 o'clock, the live before lock. Slates are all over the place today. Large field tournaments have different start times. It's madness, but we got No House Advantage. How are you doing, Terry?
Doing pretty well. I accidentally slept in a little bit this morning, but that's good. I needed it and did manage to wake up in time to be here for this show. So we're ahead of the game already. But yeah, like we were saying behind the scenes, got kind of a wipeout Sunday. I had a bad Sunday. Kyrie Irving, I was thinking about it in your intro there, and Kyrie being in like, I think it was like 90+% of my lineups was probably what tanked those NBA lineups we were just talking about. But yeah, rough Sunday, but a fun Sunday of just NFL action, watching my Giants take the next step, I guess, in the Daniel Jones dynasty here. But managed to win a playoff game for the first time in 11 years. That was fun to watch. And yeah, good, quiet weekend overall, but I'm psyched to get into the MLK slate. Large prize pools be damned. Let's dive in. It'll be a fun day of basketball anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And then key things you guys want to always remember are, one, as we could move on in, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We're closing in on 86,000 subscribers. That does help us so much here on YouTube. You can also get in for some free Stokastic premium by going to stokastic.com/avatar. Download the avatar, upload it on your DFS site of choice, place in the top 3 of any contest with 5,000 or more contestants. Tweet your victory at Stokastic Hall of Fame, showing the Stokastic logo, and we'll get you set up with 30 free days of Stokastic Premium. You guys know the drill. There's a couple caveats here. Got to be top 3, not ties for $1 million, but we are giving these out all the time. It's a lot of fun. Good way to get in there on Stokastic. Of course, No House Advantage wants you to get in on the fun as well, so we're going to talk about them. They have 2 different game formats, but you know what the best part is? You go into the link below us here on the YouTube channel, and that's that magic little click. Just that little click is worth $100 to you, because if you put in $100 in your No House Advantage first deposit, they will match it up to 100. You put in 10, they'll give you 10. You put in 20, they give you 20. You put in 200, they're going to give you 100 because it's a $100 deposit match. But free money starting off the day. I like that, Terry. I like that. All right, we're going to focus first on the tournament contest, the tournament format here on No House Advantage. This is where you can get the overlay. Their contests are not filling. This is intentional because they want to get you guys over here to try out their site. We, of course, have free projections for you for all of their games and formats. I'm going to drop that link there into the YouTube chat, but we're going to look at building out a pick'em card, a big giant 10-leg parlay. The best part is, if we get one of the legs wrong, it's okay. We still get points for anything else that we get right. So we assign confidence points 10 through 1. We're going to choose 10 different props. The points you get for getting those props correct, up, higher, or lower, go into the contest. That is how you play against other gamers and split up that pool of money. So we're going to talk overs and unders. These are static props. They do not change. Think of these like salaries on the other DFS sites. They don't change their salaries when news happens. These don't change. The dynamic props, that's the versus the house. We'll talk about those later. Terry, take her away here. Let's start off with the unders. There's a couple of good ones popping off here that we can look at.
Yeah, a couple of solid PRAs on the unders. Nothing cracking into the 90s, though. 88, 85, 85 on the top 3. As Dylan Brooks, John Collins, and Bradley Beal on their PRAs. Just looking at the collective numbers, it looks like it's a case of where the 3 lines are just set a little high, giving us a little bit of room on these 3. Dylan Brooks, for example, he's leading the way. The line is at 26.5. We've got him projected to miss that by essentially 6.5 on the PRA. He averages 22.9 in his 30 minutes per game. We do have a situation. I believe Ja is questionable here. So if you take that body out of it, that could potentially change the situation there, because, you get Dylan Brooks just with, more to do, more permission to do it. So I would be a little bit wary on the news there. Could make it a little bit fragile. But as things currently stand, if you get Ja in, I think you're 100% fine. Looks like a hip thing. I don't have any status update, though, just a Q tag on Ja. So keep an eye on that. But as things currently stand, it looks like we've got him pegged to miss that by a pretty wide margin. Similar story with Collins. Up and down kind of a performer, averaging a 22.2 PRA in 31 minutes a game. His is set at 28.5. So that's another one. It's just lofty. We know they've had some moving parts in the front court there in Atlanta, but I think that one gives us plenty of room on that. And then Beal comes in. He's sitting at a 34.5. He's probably the guy that, I think it's, if any of these 3 guys I'm worried about just has that big, star caliber player type of a night and gets there, it's Beal. But he's banged up a little bit. He's been averaging 31.6 in his 33.6 minutes a night. So if we gave him a 36-minute night, maybe we're pushing the edge there a little bit. But we've got him projected just at 27.9. So I think there's plenty of room there. We've got him projected for only 30 minutes. So a little bit of a ding in his minutes, a little bit of a ding in his production, in our numbers. So I think that any one of those 3 or or all three of them make for fairly strong plays. Just keep an eye on any news, anything that might change with the nature of each of those, because you could get a situationally different look at these guys as we get toward lock.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a few different moving parts here with injuries, variety of start times, et cetera. So news will be more available. This is one of the rare shows where we're doing for No House Advantage. That's before the main injury reports come out. So we haven't gotten those afternoon updates because it's an early start day. So it's kind of working against things here, but that's all right. We're all playing with the same player pool here. A couple injuries of note. So for Beal, the Wizards have said they're not going to bring him back until he's fully healthy. He's missed the last 4 games. He's played once in the last 8 because he came back a little too early from that soft tissue injury. So he's someone that well, we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. But there's moving parts
he did
there.
Practice yesterday.
Okay, that's moving in the correct direction. We'll have to see what else is there. The other one that's kind of interesting here with some of these Lakers contest is they did play last night, right? So this is a back-to-back. They are the final game of today's slate as well. So it's a standard back-to-back for them. They're going to be without Austin Reeves, Anthony Davis, and Lonnie Walker still. But you've got Patrick Beverley missed last night with an illness, and then LeBron, it is a back-to-back. Now, he was phenomenal last night. I would expect, this is a very winnable game for them against Houston, and they've got to start banking some wins here. But he played 35 minutes last night, 46 in his prior game. But he's just played in just 2 games over the last week. Actually, technically 2 games in the last 10 days. So he ideally is about as refreshed as we'll ever get him on a back-to-back. So just keep an eye on some of those updates. The key thing to remember about No House Advantage is once the contests start, you can still change your props up until the game tips off for your players. So you do have some flexibility there. The other key reminder is do not play somebody who is out. Don't get cute and say, oh, I'm going to take the under on Anthony Davis, whatever. You're going to get a 0 for that. That's kind of just wasting some time there. But we shall see. Okay, let's, you want to look at some overs here? A little more exciting.
I'm just
here.
trying to figure out. It looks like we updated projections because I didn't have any numbers on LeBron, and I was just trying to figure out why that would be. And it looks like we updated projections, but now we've only got like 1 or 2 of the games. So I think I'm going to stick with my original set because it had much, much more in it. So guys behind the scenes, we need to run a new update on that NHA. You've only got like 2 games in there.
Yeah. So in any event, then Terry, let's look at some of the ones we have. We of course have the Houston Lakers game. So looking at the Houston side, they had some injuries here themselves. So Kevin Porter, he's a little dinged up. He missed the last game. Jayshawn Tate did not play in the last game, and then Jalen Green also, I believe, did not play. So
drop this in here because this might just be the games that I was missing from the other ones because I don't have anything Houston wise apparently in this first update. So it looks like
I only have Houston and the Lakers.
All right, so you got the one that I grabbed just now, I guess. I grabbed the earlier one that had everything else. So I think on mine, actually, now that I dropped that one in here, it looks like I think I might just be combining the ones that I was missing. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
All righty. It is what it is there.
It's no biggie.
Let me see here if I can. And chat, sorry about all this. This is normally not
it just makes it wacky when we've got broken up slates as far as the data and how, like for me, my spreadsheet data comes from the backbone of it providing like the game info and stuff like that comes from the FanDuel sheet. And that's the other thing here. That LA game is not on that FanDuel slate.
Yeah. So and that's it's like having this is like double headers. So again, apologies. This happens what 2 times a year basically in the NBA.
Yeah.
Kind of Christmas makes things a little wonky, but everybody these days tends to agree that the tournaments start with the first game. There used to be years where some of them would skip that very first game and only go with the last 4. Now we've got all the single game formats and stuff kind of mess up some of our things. And now of course I'm joking. I'm coughing here. It's you know what? We're just going to take all this out in post-production. It's going to be great.
That's right. Fix it in post. It'll be a great, nice, tight 5-minute show. It does look like I've got these sorted in here now. I'm only missing some of the game data, so I should be able to talk through the various players and the props. KPJ sitting at 87.5% to miss his 35.5 PRA line is also looking like a strong one now that we've got that Houston game in there. So I do think that that's another one that you can pick off. He's averaging a 30.3 in 34 minutes a night over 40 games. We're projecting him for 31 minutes tonight. So it's not like he's far off of this line, but that's a lot of additional work to do. Like we're asking him, he's going to climb the mountain that he climbs every night. And then we're asking him to go a little bit further. Right. So I don't know that he's got that little bit further in his bag here. I like that. I like that one. It's sitting at 87.5, slightly stronger than both the Collins and the Beal ones. But it does slide in behind Dennis Schroeder, who pops up on his PRA 28.5. He pops up as an 88.2 in the latest update. So now that top PRA line, we're looking at 5 unders up top, all 85% or better. It's Dylan Brooks, Dennis Schroeder, KPJ, John Collins, Bradley Beal. All 5 of those PRAs are 85% or stronger to go under in the current format.
All right.
Got something?
All right. I'm going to send that little note there to the back office, folks. Let's look at some of our versus the house props. Those seem to be coming through clean. So we're going to focus on that. This is the other version of no house advantage games, right? So if you are in a state that isn't quite fully enlightened yet, has not self-actualized that a great revenue source is going to be gambling, sports wagering. These are important, right? Yes, very, very important. If you're not in one of those states and you have no house advantage, we can scratch that itch for you because we have player props. You build out a parlay card, 2, 3, 4, or 5 questions. The more you put in your card, the more you get right, the higher the payout. Go all 5 for 5. It's 21x, highest payout in the business. I prefer to do 2 or 3 player prop cards because I like to win. These are dynamic props. So while we were talking about 80 and 90% outcomes in the other format, they do that purposefully so people will pick different things. These are going to be closer to, not quite a pick 'em, but you're not going to see anything above 70%. Usually if you get anything above 62 or so, that's considered a pretty strong wager. So our first look here, let's assume full health of Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's going against Indiana here. He has a 12.5 rebound line. We're projecting him for 11.2. That's our best wager of the day to go under a 12.5 rebound prop. Would you consider that one, Terry?
Yeah, we've got him 66% on the under. I agree with that. I think it looks strong. Looking at the versus the field contest, that's 11.5 line, and it drops down to 55%. So it's a lot weaker in the event against the field. I think you can get away with it against the house. As you said, it's our strongest pick. Obviously, we're talking about a very proficient rebounder, 11.9 rebounds a game, 16.2% rebounding rate. Nothing not to like about the opportunity there. 33.7 minutes a night. We've got him projected to play almost exactly that. So is it thin? Is it fragile? Yes. But is it strong in terms of as compared to some of these other versus the house lines? Yeah, I think that's the one that has the most padding on it. So yes, but it's not the warm, fuzzy 98%ers like we get in the versus the field contest here by any means.
Right. And another thing to keep in mind, it looks like Miles Turner is trending towards playing today. He's missed the last handful of games with back spasms or lower back issues. So if he returns, that does put another good rebounder on the court. That is what can cause problems for Giannis in getting to, that's 12.5 is a lofty total. I mean, it means you got to get 13 rebounds. Let's look at it this way. And I love the fact that I can just
36 number is 12.7. So he's not getting there in 36 minutes. We're projecting him to play, 2.5 minutes fewer than that. Could Giannis stumble into 2 additional rebounds? Of course. Nobody's saying he couldn't, but going by the numbers, by the averages. Yeah. What was the data you were looking at?
Did you know in his 35 games that he has played, he has 13 or more rebounds, which is what he needs to hit the over 15 times. So about 40% of the time he gets there.
Okay. Yep.
Hence, you can see how we back into right. This are all math exercises, probabilities, but you can kind of see how the math works. That you're like, oh, okay, 2 out of 3 times he's not going to make it. That feels about right. That feels about
We're
right.
giving it a 66% shot. That sounds about right.
Okay, let's look at LaMelo Ball. Actually, let's go to Mason Plumlee. Mason Plumlee has been seeing a significant increase in his playing time, Terry. 2.5 assists. We're projecting him for 3.2. He is someone that I think he's hit. I'm calling up his game log here. I believe he's hit 33 or more minutes in, where's his time? He has 6 in his last 6 games. He is averaging 34 minutes.
0.7 minutes.
Yep, 33. Yep, good math there, Terry. With 3 assists. Yeah, this is someone who is a relatively solid passer, right? In his last 7 games, he has gone over 3 assists 4 times. So here's one that I really like. So we have a function of his playing time on the upswing. We know that they're going to need his size against just to clog the lane against the Boston front court, and then it's no Kelly Oubre Jr. And likely no Gordon Hayward. He's still banged up, so that is a nice opportunity for Mason Plumlee to continue getting solid minutes. So he's another one I like. I would pair those 2 together. The LaMelo Ball rebounds. I don't know what I want to do with the LaMelo Ball rebounds.
It's sitting under 5.5, 65%. We just plug him in here because that game also not in the FanDuel pool. So looking at, I do like the Plumlee call quite a bit. Just a solid contributor, 65.9% true shooting, 17.7% assist rate, 17% rebound rate, averaging 3.6 assists per game in just 28.2 minutes. We're projecting him at 31.5 minutes. In a per 36 cents, he's at 4.6 on the assists. So I think we're pretty comfy there. LaMelo on the rebounding, looking at him by the numbers, 7.5% rebounding rate, a 5.4 per game, 34.8 minutes. We're giving him an additional minute, basically. So does that cruise him up to, what was the line here?
It's 5.5. So the interesting thing in heavy minutes,
about the number.
Yeah, it's right about there. But if you look at in 5 of his last 6 games, he's gotten 4 or less. This one's going to go down to the wire. This is the one where if the game's sort of in hand and he's out there one way or the other, you're annoyed. He's like, oh, great. He got a long rebound off a free throw. I didn't need that. I had that happen for me for Evan Mobley. He came back into the game late when we picked him he hit the number at 8, but I picked him at 7.5. He came back in late in the game and got 2 rebounds. One of them was on a free throw. So I was like, yes, of course this happened. I am a god. No, and then you lose the rest of your bets. But it felt good for a moment anyway. But this is going to be one of those edge of your seats.
Cheapy free throw plays drive me bananas though. At the end, like you're sweating something big, and it's just like, okay, here comes a couple easy buckets. My guy's at the line, and then get my 2 points. I'll cruise up. I'll jump over these people, and nope, he clanged it off the back iron. Some idiot grabbed the rebound, and now I'm an additional 6 points back. It's just drives me nuts.
Yes, those are we all have lived through those moments. Yeah. We've all
my NBA 2K GM simulation thing that I'm doing, in the year 2079 or something like that. They've actually done away with free throw shooting. You just book the 2 points and run down the other end of the court now. It's great.
Really?
Yeah, I just let the NBA pass whatever changes the computer NBA wants to pass. So it's a unique league now. You can take the ball up and back over the half court line as many times as you want. There's a 6-second clock on getting the ball across half court, though. Initially, it's a weird league.
Interesting. That's what is it? The chaos version of the NBA.
It's the chaos version. And then New Jersey won way too many times.
One other guy.
I moved them to Seattle.
Oh, there we go. Now I'm on board. Now I'm interested. I'm listening.
Hey.
Tell me more. Okay, so last one we'll kind of talk through here because we've got some other shows coming up behind us, and we got to get along with our day. We know you guys do as well. You were going to want to register in for some contests here, etc. But Najee Marshall going against Cleveland, that fierce Cleveland defense. Yes, they are missing, still missing Brandon Ingram and Zion, and Najee's had to pick up the scoring, but I don't like this particular matchup for him. This is going to be another one that's nip and tuck. 16.5 line, we have him for 14.7 points. I think that's about appropriate. However, in his last 5 games, he does have 17 or more points. And he's in this stretch, he is averaging, eyeballing it, looking about like 35.3 minutes per game with 20 points per game. This is kind of a matchup based one here. I feel okay taking the under. So if I'm going to do a 3-player card, it's probably going to be the Giannis rebound under. I'd really like Miles Turner to play, but I will still take the Giannis under. The Mason Plumlee over on assists, and then the Najee Marshall under on 16.5 points. Where do you stand on that one as we wrap things up here for No House Advantage?
Yeah, I can support that idea. Given the recent performance, the playing time, it might not be the most comfortable click in the world. Like you said, 35.3 minutes a game over the last 5, and definitely has seen an uptick in the scoring. But just against this stout Cleveland team, I don't really think it's going to be that big an issue. I think there's a good path toward them keeping a player like him down. So yeah, I think that's giving him just a little bit, probably too much to do. It's mathing out at 62%. Seems fairly likely. I think the one above that as well on our board here, Jonas Valanciunas, the rebounds under 10.5. That's sitting at 62%. Also going up against this stout Cleveland front court. So I think there's something potentially to be said about that one as well here. You could probably get away with plugging both of those into a Valanciunas. I just had to type Jonas's name there for a second. Took me out of the flow of my thought because I had to remember how to spell Valanciunas. 9.7 a game on the rebounds for Jonas. Obviously, per 36 cents, if you get that big day of minutes for him, he jumps up to a 14 per 36. So you've got to play that usual game that we're playing with Jonas Valanciunas on the minutes. We've got him projected at 26.7. So it's well underneath what he needs to get that extreme rebound game. So I think we've got a lot of room on that one as well. I think there's a reason to attack that at 10.5.
All righty. We're at the bottom of the hour. We want to thank everybody for joining here. We talked about No House Advantage, the 2 different formats of their games. We talked about the $100 deposit match by going through the link in the YouTube description below here. As you create your account, they'll match you up to $100 on your first deposit. And we also dropped in the link there for the free projections for both game formats. We've got the versus the house props. Those update about every 5 or 10 minutes, just to make sure that their lines are changing. And then whenever we do a DFS model update, those stats flow through into this. We also have the versus the house peer versus peer contest, the tournaments. Those update just as frequently. And then the third tab on that page is the optimal lineups. That just allows you to go in and find yourself a good lineup that takes into account all of the different probabilities and ranks them in order for you to optimize your likelihood of success. This is a pretty good deal here.
So if people out there missed, they were looking for some picks for the versus the field contest, you go to that page, sort it by the win rates for the overs, sort it by the win rates for the unders, pick the top ones. It's done for you. It couldn't be easier. Some of the ones I did like from that one that we didn't really get to talk about though, Steph and LaMelo, both on the 3-pointers made, are both over 88% on the over. Mikal Bridges on the assists looks very strong. Anthony Edwards on the rebounds looks fairly strong at 85%. So just a few of the overs that we didn't get to discuss there that I do like for the versus the field contest, sitting up at the top of the board to throw them out to the people.
Excellent. Appreciate you calling those out. Terry, you can find Terry on Twitter at DigitalBeat21. I am at EMac DFS. Of course, it is Stokastic _COM. With that, gamers, hit the like button. Good luck.